All right. Looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. First off, I want to say good evening to everyone. At this moment, I can't quite see my screen, so I don't know if anyone's going to join or not. So if you are live, I will say in advance, welcome. And if you see the replay, do hashtag replay and let's share this out. This is a continuation from the Teach Me Tuesday from last Tuesday. And again, before I start, I do want to say my name is Rod Hill. I am a digital tech launcher where I help entrepreneurs, coaches, and experts with their web presence, specifically in web design, lead generation components, and social media setup. So bottom line, I help make complicated tech simple for the everyday entrepreneur. And what I want to talk about is going to expand on what I talked about last week when I talked about the different types of web hosting. So today I want to just focus on what's called cPanel hosting, which was one of the ones that I mentioned. And there's three things I kind of want to share with you real quick on what I do when I look at, getting hosting or cPanel hosting. So I'm going to switch. Well, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to switch over to my screen share because I think it's a lot easier to kind of explain it while you're kind of seeing it on the screen, okay? All right, so if you see on my screen, this is they have all types of web hosting sites. This is the one that I use a lot to get all my domain names and my web hosting, and I'll kind of explain it to you once I go over the main points. So the top three things that I really focus on is I look for plans where it gives you unlimited websites where you can do as many websites as you want. Also check to see if they have an option for unlimited unlimited space or bandwidth. And also I take a look at their options in terms of customer service. Now there's a big reason why I use ZebraHost a lot. There might be one or two, I think maybe one other company that I've seen that actually does this, but since I'm just so familiar with this one, I just use it. So again, unlimited websites, bandwidth, and then I check out their options for customer service and tech support. So if you see on my screen here, this is, like I said, ZebraHost. You got different plans here. So if you could just kind of take a look, they have like just on this page, there's just 4 different options. And obviously I look at the ones at the bottom. Because if you kind of take a look at this, you got a starter, yes, $249, but you only get an option to do one website, 30 gigabytes of storage, which isn't too bad. I'll explain to you how you manage that. And this is called unmetered bandwidth. Now they got an asterisk here, and it tells you kind of what that means. But I don't like unmetered at all. I rather see the word unlimited. So that way I know for sure there's no limits. Meter, that word meter kind of, gives me issues. So I don't deal with that. All right. And then you got deluxe hosting, which is, the typical one. As you can see here, this one has unlimited websites. And that basically means you can create as many websites as you want. Now there's caveats to it. I'm explaining in just a moment. But then you also have unlimited bandwidth, as you can see the asterisk here. But I like this asterisk better. Because if you can see here, it says we don't limit the amount of storage and bandwidth your site uses as long as it complies with the hosting agreement. So all these different companies have different terms and conditions of hosting agreements. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the biggest ones that I ran into a lot, which is why a lot of times I had to go move up to VPS because I was doing a lot of WordPress websites, and WordPress websites are very resource intensive. And again, remember, y'all remember when I talked about that last week, I talked about shared hosting. And when you're sharing with a lot of other different people or different websites, you can bog down the server, and they'll either 9 times out of 10, they'll just wind up shutting you down if you're taking up most of all the resources. So, but with this one here, as you saw on the asterisk, they actually don't limit the amount of bandwidth that you have as long as you're within the hosting agreement. Now, since I've been with them on the cPanel side, I actually have a VPS with them now. But when I had the cPanel, I really didn't have that many issues either. It's just that I started doing a whole lot of testing and things of that nature, and I was bogging down some things. So I just went ahead. I just personally moved up to a VPS. I didn't really have to, but it just gave me more flexibility to be able to do so, and I just did it. But most of you guys won't have that issue because, like I said, I deal with a lot of tech stuff, so I need as much as I can get. So I didn't quite move up to dedicated. I don't really need to go that high. VPS was good. But going back to this, as you can see, unlimited websites and bandwidth. Now, the one that I really like is the ultimate. And part of the reason it gives you, like, you really won't use this many email accounts, but you will if for me, for an example, WordPress websites use databases. And as you can see on the cPanel Deluxe, it only gives you up to 25. So that basically means I can only make up to 25 WordPress websites. But with the cPanel Ultimate, you can do unlimited. So, which is a gig each, but that doesn't really mean much. So that's a lot of space per database, and you can use as many as you want to. So out of all three of these, if the budget allows itself, then I will always say just go with the highest. Now, I'm not saying do this one, but just kind of get an idea of what you're looking at. Try to go unlimited as much as possible is basically what I'm saying. But, you know, if the one that has 25 databases work, then it works. Then it works. So, all right. So those are the things. So unlimited websites, unlimited bandwidth. And then the last thing is that I want to kind of touch on real quick is not necessarily just the customer service, but the tech support. I went through a lot of companies, and one of the biggest issues that I had is that they have, most all the companies have either three main supports. They either have chat, they have email support, or they have phone support. Now, when it comes to technical stuff, I'm going to be honest with you. This main reason why I deal with them is because of the live support aspect on both customer service and tech. Most other companies, they have live for customer service and maybe a tier of tech support. That's basic stuff that, you know, how to, reforge your domain name or something of that nature. But when it comes to something really complicated, like, hey, my entire website is down and I don't understand what's going on with it. If most of the time they can't fix it on first tier, then their second and third tier, which are the real background tech support people, they can only reach out to them via email. And if you can imagine, if they don't respond fast enough, all the time it's taking for them to respond is more time that you're offline. And especially if you're in money making mode and you have some automation going on your website, that means your site going to be down all that time. So with this one, when you call the phone number, they have customer service support and the tech support that handles all that together. So very rarely do they have to send an email to get some additional support. Any issue I've had, I've been able to talk to somebody in reference to it and fix the issue with no problem. So those are some of the things. So again, let me just quickly recap. So when you're looking at cPanel hosting, you want to kind of see what your options are. My recommendation is to go with the one that has the unlimited websites and unlimited bandwidth. And of course, if you're doing a lot of websites, you want to see if you can get unlimited databases too, especially for WordPress reasons. And then the last thing, of course, is that was the first and second, and then the last thing, of course, is checking out their support, their levels of support. Preferably live is the best way to go. Chat is okay, but just be mindful that most of the time, if they just have chat and they have email, then they're probably going to have the extra layers of support for tech via those methods, and you're just going to have to wait until they respond back. It is what it is. So, all right, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I have no idea how long this was, but if you missed it, check the replay. And again, this is Raw Hill, your digital tech launcher. Again, I help entrepreneurs, coaches, and experts with their web presence, specifically in web design, social media setup, and lead generation components. And bottom line, I help make complicated tech simple for the everyday entrepreneur. Until next week, I will see y'all on the next stream. Take care. God bless. Have a good evening.